of your school were part of the staff at the boarding school, so I was forever at school. Can you imagine? You're forever under the hand of your teacher. And today I thank the Lord for it because it brought a strict, a built character into me. And the more I respected authority, the more I attracted their pleasure towards me. Likewise, in marriage, please understand, in marriage, you've got to respect your partner. If you respect that person, you will attract the qualities of that person. What you don't respect is what you actually push aside. And how sad it is, and I say it with an absolute respect, that people can actually lose their respect for each other after some time, and they start throwing tantrums, even grown-ups, and they, slam the door and they walk out. They don't phone each other, or they don't talk to each other during that day where they're upset with their partner until the evening. How sad that is. How sad. Okay? Now, when I come back, okay, let me just do one more point. In marriage, you've got to take responsibility for the other person. Many marriages run into conflict because of early life deprivation, which leads to neurotic tendencies in exaggerating, contradictory, conflicting, opposing, fluctuating, and wishy-washy behavior. Okay? So here's the thing. There's a time where we need to grow up. There's a lot of mature people that could never grow up appropriately under a proper disciplined home and a lifestyle, and because their parents never had a good time as children, and their parents had to put up with rejection and with parents yelling at them and parents screaming at them and all this kind of thing. Now they're reproducing that same pattern into their children. And I don't know about you, but we need to draw a line and say enough is enough. Just because I was brought up under rejection, anger, I was brought up under a lack of love, I was brought up under an isolation of loneliness, I was brought up under all those stuff. I can just really, I don't want to make you cry. But I had a rough time in growing up. It felt I was always in prison in that boarding school because my parents did not have time for me, or they did not love me enough to provide a secure place for my upbringing. So by the time I left school, I was very rebellious. I was very arrogant. I had a short fuse. You know, a short fuse? Oh man, I could get angry. And now, we now have time as parents. As you're listening to this broadcast, right now as a parent, you can make up your mind today and say, today I am going to make a difference in my generation. I'm going to ask my kids to forgive me where I've treated them wrong, where I've even abused them verbally by just screaming and shouting and yelling. But sit them down, make a decision, explain to them how you are going to run your household from now on, out of mutual respect. Teenagers must respect you as a parent. Amen? And let me tell you, where there is perfect love, the imperfection will disappear. Value your children. Just because they're teenagers doesn't mean that we keep them under our thumb. Value them. Respect them. Build into them wise sayings. Spend time with them. Quality time. If you're going to be too busy and you don't have time to build into your children some other voices and the worldly systems, yes, of pride and arrogance and rudeness will build into their character. If you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. And don't complain, because you are accountable. See, there are actually parents, they will drop off their children at church and expect the church to pick up the slack of 6 days where the child had no support of discipline. Discipline is a support. You say, how can you say that? How is it supporting? Now, I'm just taking one example. If you look at a little Yorkie, now this is not a human being, it's an animal, I understand. But our little Yorkie is so used to the boundary lines of discipline. Of, when it's time to go outside to potty, when that Yorkie makes a mistake, yes, on the carpet, my first reaction was, I'm going to whack you, man. But then I started to train my Yorkie like I would train a human being, almost. And speak to the Yorkie that it is wrong, that's not good, and our little Yorkie knows by now, when she does something wrong, you can just pick up that one carpet that she likes, just that one little carpet square that she likes. You just pick it up, she already runs because she knows what you are gonna do. But when she does a potty outside, I praise her, give her a little treat. You understand? Now comes at night time, my wife and I, we sit and watch a little bit of television, or we chat, whatever. Our Yorkie, when it's past her bedtime, believe it or not, she'll come and sit in front of us and start moaning that we're not coming to bed. Can you believe it? Now, when she was busy growing up, because she's only about 3 years old now, well, she's not grown up, but and when she was like 1 year old, 2 years old, when it was time for bed, and let's say I just, have cast off that spirit of discipline in taking her to her little basket and putting her in her room to sleep, she will be restless, running up and down and up and down, and it's like, man, settle down. But she could not settle down because her boundaries suddenly was removed from her, and she had so much freedom that she couldn't settle down. That's what I'm saying. We've got to build boundaries into our children. Mom and dad, build some boundaries, some loving boundaries into your children, and then watch them. As they move within those boundaries, they are going to thrive, they're going to prosper, they're going to be a blessing, you're going to be a blessing to them. They know what to expect, you know what to expect, and unnecessary conflict will fall by the wayside. Okay, now, our time is almost up. Wow. I'm going to do part 2 of this marriage as well. And then I'm going to reveal to you the Big 10 that threatens a marriage, the Big 10. And don't miss out on part 2 of this. Tell your friends that there's a brand fresh new part coming. And so after you've watched this part, it will be the following week. And I'm going to share with you the 10 things that threatens a marriage. It's going to be very, very powerful, okay? All right?